That is the birth rate of true dragons. That's why Anna specifically sought out a red dragon to breed with. How can this be? Simon and I are actually hybrids. Yelena's expression went blank. Simon's forehead creased with visible irritation. Hey, insult yourself if you want, but don't drag me into it. I am extremely satisfied with this mixed blood body of mine. From now on, if anyone dares to look down on me, I'll beat them until they're crawling on the floor looking for their teeth. As he spoke, Simon flexed his claws with a casual swipe. Anna watched Simon in silence. At this rate of development, Simon's future was limitless. He would certainly make a name for himself among dragonkind. Simon stretched his right claw out toward Anna. Dragon Mom, I caught the prey first. And not just one piece or two. You should honor your promise. And reward me with a gold coin. Simon had been eyeing that coin for a long time. Now that the hunting contest was over, he wasted no time going straight to his dragon mother Anna to claim his reward. Anna extended her palm and passed the gold coin to Simon. As she handed it over, Anna's face was a picture of pained reluctance. Even though she had agreed to this promise with her own mouth, when the moment actually came to hand it over, she still couldn't help but feel the wrench. As a greedy black dragon, being asked to voluntarily give away a gold coin, even to her own child, was more painful than being stabbed. Hand it over. Seeing Anna hesitate, stalling without acting, Simon took matters into his own claws, leaping up to snatch the coin right from her grasp. Holding the gleaming golden round coin in his hands, Simon was practically delirious with joy. He pinched the coin carefully between his claws and examined it closely. So this is a gold coin. Simon turned it over and over, unable to stop. Simon's brother. Can I have a look? Yelena had only just recovered from the shock of learning she was a half-blood dragon. Barely regaining her senses, she had reluctantly come to accept the fact. After all, there was nothing to be done about it. Then, seeing Simon receive Anna's reward, having grudgingly accepted the fact since there was nothing to be done, and now seeing Simon receive Anna's reward of a gold coin, Yelena couldn't resist edging over. Of course, Simon paused his fiddling and held the coin out in front of Yelena. Yelena stared at the gold coin in Simon's palm, longing pouring openly from her eyes. Before she could get more than a glimpse, Simon immediately withdrew it. Good, you've had your look. No more looking, Yelena. Dragon little sister Yelena but was completely speechless. After admiring the coin for quite some time, Simon's burning enthusiasm finally began to cool. He put the coin away safely, and with both pieces of prey in tow, followed his dragon mother back to the territory. Consumed charred venison, body size +0.01 mm. Consumed half-raw venison, body size +0.02 nm. Consumed whole wolf, body size +0.05 mm. Ugh, roasting meat is so hard. Simon was on the verge of despair. After the hunting contest ended, Dragon Mother Anna had brought both children, along with their catches, back to the territory. It was getting late. And on top of that, the hunt had consumed a considerable amount of energy, so the very first thing Simon did upon returning to the territory was attempt to cook his food. He had no intention of eating another meal, corroded by Dragon Mother's acidic breath. What he hadn't anticipated, however, was that Simon had no skill at controlling heat. He gathered a pile of firewood, and used his skill, Fire Dragon's Roar, to do the cooking. But the skill's output was simply too powerful. The flames it produced were scorching hot. Simon's roasted meat ended up either charred to a crisp, or not cooked through. Being a black dragon, eating raw meat wasn't out of the question, but it left him feeling deeply frustrated. How strange. You actually want to eat cooked meat? Is that the red dragon bloodline at work? Anna watched Simon roasting meat with curious eyes. Yelena sat quietly to one side, quite unlike her usual lively self, docile and still, mouth hanging open, drool periodically, escaping the corners of her mouth. Even though Simon's roasting skills were terrible, that couldn't change the fact that Yelena desperately wanted some. During the midday hunt, Yelena had only managed to catch a single rabbit, so she was now absolutely starving. And the aroma drifting over from Simon's roasting meat was nearly unbearable. If she could only beat Simon in a fight, she would have lunged over to steal his food long ago. Finally, Yelena could bear it no longer. She turned on the charm and wheedled Simon for food. Simon, brother, my dearest brother, could you spare me just a little bit of roasted meat? I don't need much. Just one wolf leg will do. Simon immediately rolled his eyes and refused without a second thought. If you want to eat, go hunt for yourself. You've learned how to hunt now anyway. Every bit of this was caught by my own hands. With his body size increasing, Simon's appetite was enormous. The young deer was too small, and even adding the gray wolf was barely enough to fill him up. So Simon had absolutely no plans to share with Yelena. Yelena stared at the chunks of meat sizzling over the fire, swallowed her drool and said, I've had enough. Your roasted meat smells too good. You have to share a piece with me. Yelena, displaying the classic dragon traits of greed and selfishness, lunged at Simon. Unfortunately, Yelena, barely 2 days old, a dragon hatchling, was no match at all for Simon as he was now. Simon had already finished the young deer and consumed half the gray wolf. His body size had successfully reached 3 meters, a full meter or more taller than Yelena. Watching Yelena hurl herself at him, Simon swung out one paw and sent her flying. This time Simon showed no restraint. He put full force into that slap, leaving Yelena's entire face swollen. The sheer power behind Simon's blow was evident. Simon walked over and loomed over Yelena, looking down at her. Expression ferocious, face twisted with menace. With your level of strength, you dare reach for my food? Come back and challenge me when you've learned some magic. Simon issued his warning. Yelena was obviously not satisfied. She launched herself at him once more. Charging again, challenge me. Simon issued his warning. Yelena was obviously not willing to accept it, and launched her attack once more, only to be knocked back by Simon again. This time Yelena began to grasp the gap between them. Until she had mastered a truly powerful magic, Yelena stood absolutely no chance against Simon. Seeing Simon had no intention of sharing food, the starving Yelena had no choice but to turn away, heading into the nearby forest to hunt. Simon paid Yelena no mind, and carried on roasting meat for himself. Damn it, lost focus for just a second. And it's burnt again. Simon cursed under his breath, and hastily flipped the meat over. After working through an entire young deer, and half a gray wolf's worth of roasting experience, Simon had noticed that charred meat, once consumed, yielded slightly less body size growth than raw meat, but even perfectly cooked meat did not surpass the body size boost that feast could provide. This made it clear, eating raw meat was the most efficient choice. Still, Simon had no desire to eat raw meat, and stuck with roasting regardless. Consumed charred wolf, body size 0.02 mem. Consumed half raw wolf meat, body size 0.05 mem. Consumed fully cooked wolf meat, body size plus 0.05 mem. Very quickly, the remaining wolf meat had all been devoured by Simon. Name, Simon. Level, Tier 1, body size. 3 on 301 miss skills. Feast, Fire Dragon's Roar. Simon opened the system and reviewed his stats panel. He was very satisfied with where his attributes currently stood. On the growth front, he had Feast, able to continuously increase his body size. On the combat front, Fire Dragon's Roar packed a serious punch. Simon, you've grown again. Returning from the hunt, Yelena let out a gasp. She dragged a white sheep behind her, eyeing Simon up and down repeatedly. Simon had only been born minutes before Yelena, yet in terms of body size, the gap between them was already undeniable. Dragon hatchlings were actually not slow growers by nature. But it had been just one day, and even with Yelena growing as fast as she could, her body length still hadn't reached 2 meters. Simon didn't answer her puzzled question. He never answered such questions. His oddities had long since caught both Yelena and Anna's attention, but neither of the two female dragons could offer an explanation. All they could assume was that Simon had inherited some special power from his bloodline. Fed and satisfied, Simon spread his wings. His body length was now over 3 meters. Whether it was the red dragon bloodline at work, or the effective feast, Simon was unlike an ordinary black dragon. He possessed wings of enormous size. When both wings were fully spread, they spanned nearly 10 meters. Black dragons were lean and slender, with a skull-like face, which was why they were also called skull dragons. Black dragons typically flew through a combination of wing power and magical assistance, so their wings weren't particularly large. But Simon, possessing the red dragon bloodline and the feast bonus, had a powerful muscular build. Young as he was, Simon, carrying that red dragon bloodline, had wide expansive wings, with powerfully developed wing muscles. Even without the aid of flight-type magic, he could still generate the raw strength to carry his enormous body aloft. Furthermore, Simon's face was nothing like the gaunt, skull-like visage of ordinary black dragons. Rather than skull dragon, Simon's features were well proportioned. Calling him a black dragon was almost a misnomer. He looked more like a red dragon clad in black scales. The horns atop his head had already begun to emerge, and a pair of wings spanning nearly 10 meters unfurled, making Simon look utterly imposing and majestic. In terms of appearance alone, Simon looked like a miniature Deathwing, radiating sheer dominance. This time, eating an entire young deer plus the gray wolf only netted me 0.71 meters, but earlier eating just half a bison gave me a full 0.5 meters. It seems the growth from feast is closely tied to how powerful the prey is, Simon mused to himself, deciding that on his next hunt, he would go after stronger prey, creatures like tigers and lions. Those could probably yield a significant body size increase. Simon, brother! Yelena put on her sweetest voice, tone soft and coaxing, making Simon's whole body